Have you ever looked around and felt like everyone else has their life figured out except you? Especially on social media, you see this a lot. Some people already own homes, some are getting married, some are traveling the world, some have amazing careers, even some people already are having kids. And then there's me, wondering if I'm falling behind. I want to say it's a strange feeling, but not so strange, because nobody really wants to talk about it. Everybody posts the highlight reel. Very few people post confusion or failures or rejections. But here's something that I myself have realized living in this world for almost 25 years. Almost nobody knows what they're doing in their 20s. Some people are just better at hiding it. And keep in mind that my daily job is to talk to older people, way older, like 30s and up. And even some of these older people don't even have life figured out. They're barely figuring it out themselves. And some of these guys are pushing 40s, 50s. Here's an example. My old man. He is about to be 53, right? All his life, he's been a hard worker. I believed he moved across the country whenever he was 25, which is around my age. And he literally started, raising livestock at a random place. A few years later, he helped one of his friends open up a little business, right? And he stayed there for maybe about 15 years. And then eventually he just tells me one day, hey, I'm going to take this risk. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I just want the support when I set this in motion. And that little idea, that little bit of support is what helped him open up his first business. And this was 3 years ago. And the business is still doing very good. But if I were to ask my dad today, hey, was this your plan all along? You had to figure it out the moment you stepped in this country? And I'm pretty sure he would say no. I believe now more than ever, especially in history, since this is the age where technology is advancing like crazy, we're comparing our lives to the millions and billions online. And it's not even that we're comparing against our neighbors, maybe our classmates. So I feel like sometimes our classmates, and I'm speaking from experience. He was a good friend in high school, but recently I saw that he became a flight attendant, which is super dope. Like, he never spoke to me that he wanted to be a flight attendant until recently he started posting that he works for United. And I just thought that's amazing. But keep in mind, he never told me that he was interested in being a flight attendant or being in that service of work. He always was very tech savvy, so I thought I could have sworn he told me he was going an engineering way. But that just goes to show that life can take you to random places, and not all of them are bad. But back to the topic, since I'm drifting away from the topic. If you go ahead and open your phone right now, someone your age probably bought a house, or even younger. There's some crazy, super hardworking kids that at age like 19, 20, 21 have already bought 2 houses or one. And shout out to them, because I'm pretty sure it takes a lot of hard work, but not everybody has the same experience as them. Some of these younger adults are even opening businesses, or some of them are traveling the world like crazy. And after a while, it starts to feel like everybody received a map to life except you. But here's the part we forget. You're simply comparing your everyday life to everyone else's best moments. Have you ever seen anybody post a rejection letter or email online? How many people do you see posting their sleepless nights, the anxiety, the depth, the uncertainty, even the moments that you sit in the car wondering, what are you going to do in life? I have plenty of those throughout the week. And the craziest part is that you don't see those moments online, so your brain just fills in the blanks. The biggest thing is that hitting your 20s is probably one of the biggest reality checks you can get. Because think about it. When you're a kid, life has a schedule. Elementary school, at least on my part, this is based on where I live at, but there's a schedule. Elementary school, middle school, high school, maybe college, maybe university. But there's one thing for sure. Every year, someone tells you where to go next. Then one day, the moment you step on that stage and graduate, it all stops. Suddenly, when you get that diploma, you're expected to build a life out of nowhere. You're supposed to choose a career, figure out relationships, manage money, which they really don't talk about that in school. They don't tell you how to invest, how to do your taxes. They just simply expect you to have all these answers. And the biggest one of them all, they expect you to discover who you are, make important decisions, and simply you just have to act like you know what you're doing. And it's overwhelming, not because you're falling, but because nobody has ever done this version of life before. You're literally living it. And here is something that has helped me relax whenever I ask myself what I'm doing with life. You see, the people that you admire, most of them are figuring it out as they go. Most of the adults you see don't magically wake up one morning with every answer at all. They make decisions, just like us. Some work, some don't. Then they adjust. And that's what growing up actually looks like. Not being certain, just adapting. You don't need a perfect 5-year plan, because most of the time, life has its own way of messing with your plans. You just need enough courage to take the next step. And maybe ask yourself, maybe you're exactly where you're supposed to be, confused, curious, maybe a bit scared. But I don't think that's a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're growing and becoming aware. And I don't think your 20s are meant to be the decade where you have all the answers. There is the decade where you ask the questions that shape the rest of your life. So stop measuring your timeline against the 20-year-old millionaire. You don't know where they started. You don't know what they sacrificed. You don't know what decks of cards they got dealt. And then you don't even know where they'll be in 5 years from now. And that's the amazing thing about life, because it's the only life you'll ever truly experience. So I would suggest to build it at your own pace. And maybe growing up isn't about finally having all the answers. Maybe it's about becoming comfortable with not having them yet. I'll leave you with that final sentence. And if you're new here, I make content in the middle of the night just about my own thoughts, and maybe somebody else might have the courage to comment and let me know how they feel, or if they stand with me, or if they have other views. I would love to hear what you guys think.